Yo, favorite YouTuber all the time. Man, I gotta tell you something. Excellence is boring. Excellence is terribly blunt and boring. See, what everybody sees when you're the top percent of whatever the fuck you do, they only see the top 1%, but they don't see the 99.99999% of all the bullshit you have to do to get to that top 1%, which is extremely monotonous, tedious, and boring. And hard too, because the higher you climb, the worse it gets. It doesn't get easier because for every level that you get, the level to increase and get better doubles or triples or exponentially grows higher. So say, for example, your goal is to run a mile. Say you never ran a mile, you're fat, you're out of shape. It's not going to take you that much work to be able to run a mile. But then let's say, for example, you want to break the world record for beginning a mile. Now we're talking about an incredible amount of work. We're talking about an intense amount of study, training, preparation, fine-tuning, nutritional, paying attention to, and all these different variables to go get an extra couple seconds off so you could beat the record or whatever, 3:57, whatever the record is for the fastest mile. And see, that's the bullshit that people don't tell you about when it comes to being a higher achiever. It's very easy to be good at stuff. It's very hard to get to the highest level. And so what you start to realize as you start to train as a human being, and I'm finding this out now at the ripe age of fucking 33, it gets so boring. Excellence. Because then you have to figure out what's going to motivate you, what's going to push you. And a lot of times, the only thing that can really push you is no longer motivation. At that point, it just becomes discipline and regiment. Just sitting down and putting the time in to do it. And that's the worst fucking part. Because it's no longer a motivational factor. Like, I look at my life currently. I've gotten to the point where I think I've not achieved true financial freedom, but I have achieved pretty much freedom for the most part. Where I don't have to work a job anymore. I have different avenues by which I make money. I can cover my bills, get rid of debt. For the most part, I'll be free within a year and a half or so, if not quicker, depending on how much time and discipline I put into each particular endeavor. But here's the shitty part. I have no motivation to keep getting better besides just to fight to get more money and get more resources and power, I guess, to own an army. Like, at a certain level, once you pass the 99% of people, you're then competing with the 1%. And the problem with competing with the 1% is we all do something that's so vastly different. So say, for example, if you're a handyman, just say, for example, as a handyman. If you're working, it's not very difficult to beat the other 90% of handymen. It really ain't that difficult to beat them. Because most of them don't show up time. Most of them show up on drugs. Most of them don't have good facial grooming or proper word or speaking. They have terrible customer relation skills. And they're overall just not very good at what they do. But since there's such a limited supply, they pretty much stay in work. But what happens is now you get to the point where, okay, according to the market, I've taken over everything. Now I got to be able to expand. So now I got to take into inventory of how to get banking, how to get insurance, how to get other employees, how to hire staff, then how to market, how to make sure I cover my costs, set budgets, annual things, and then look to get bought out. So just for the fact that I wish to be the top 1%, I didn't have to do all this extra work just to reach the vital pinnacle, that last percent of being the best. And then what happens when you're the best? Everybody wants to take you down, and you bet you got to sell out, and you got to go do something else. And that's essentially what is the game. And it's like that one guy with the stone that's constantly pushing the stone up over and over and over again. He gets to the top, and the stone rolls back down. That's basically what it's like being a fucking top higher achiever. Because you fight your way all the way up to get to that one brief moment where it's like, yes, bliss. And then it's fucking finished. And you're like, fuck, I got to go back down, go chase the stone, go push another stone up again. But I guess that's kind of just the reality of men. Like, most people, see, I almost am jealous to some degree of the people who get to push the stone and finally get to the top at the end of their life, and they're like, yeah. But the shit that makes me mad is, like, I've been pushing the fucking stone up and down, up and down, up and down, damn near fucking 30 times already in my life. It hasn't stopped. And it's like, damn, how many times I got to keep pushing this up the stone? And the problem is I keep getting better and better, so I can have bigger and larger challenges. Because if I'm not challenging myself, I feel like I'm stuck. And then when I feel like I'm stuck, that's when the demons creep into your mind. And then when the demons creep into your mind, you do some stupid self-destructive shit that brings you back down. So you got to constantly stay in this momentum of pushing yourself higher and higher to greater and greater heights. It's like, it really is a mother bleeper, man. And I think a lot of people who recognize, like, they can get in great shape, they know what I'm talking about. Because, like, as a person, I train religiously every single day. For the most part, I train every day. I try to get my steps in. I run, swing my laces, swing the swords, film YouTube content, blah, 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 blah. And then I'll get to a point where I'm like, damn, I look fucking good in the mirror. And then I'm like, okay, I look too good in the mirror. And then I say, you know what, I can slack off. Now I slack off for a day. A day turns into a week. A day turns into 2 weeks. There's into 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. And the next thing you know, I gotta go back and capture what I already fucking did. And I'm just like, damn, I could have just kept going. It would have been still stayed the same way. And so that's the frustration of being a high achiever. And I think most of my high achievers can really relate to this because they're not lying, bro. It gets lonely at the top. And to some degree, you almost have to kill your humanity. Because after you get to a certain point of high achieving and doing good things and beating your goals and all this other stuff and laissez, at a certain point of it, you almost have to become like a monster to a degree, where you have to pretty much eliminate a little bit of your compassion, humanity, because you don't have time. Like, you just have to figure out, how do I delete the bullshit in caring about other people so much so I can relate and be focused on my goals. And that is like the worst part about it at all. Because I think at the beginning, everybody who's a high achiever has a lot of empathy and they care a lot because they want to do a lot to be able to help a lot of people. But the more you try to help people and the more you go about your life trying to do things to make things right, all it does is end up biting you in the ass. That's all it does. It doesn't really ever help you out in life. People just actually get mad at you and they what's the word? They get mad at you and they resent you. So they're like, well, fuck, why are you trying to help these people in the first place? Like, and that's what you start to learn. Sometimes you can't even help people. Sometimes you got to help people indirectly. You have to just kind of put things out there, give them little ropes from the sideline, and hopefully they can find their way to you as you keep going down your path of success or high achieving. And that's the downside of being a fucking high achiever. See, it's not all gold and gravy on this side of fucking town. It really ain't. But that's one of the things you have to kind of accept. And you'll hear this from a lot of really like smart people. I don't want to say smart, but observant and smart cerebral people. One of the things they'll begin to tell you is it's desperately lonely. It's so desperately lonely. And eventually you become too accustomed to the loneliness. And that's the worst part. Because then you were like, why do I even try? And then you go out, you try, you get reminded why. Well, that's why I don't fucking try to help people. Because whenever I try to help people, shit fucks me. Or I just end up wasting time or resources and I get myself in situations I didn't need to get myself in situations into. So you're almost better just to mind your own business. But that's the fucking worst part. I don't want to mind my own business. I want to be out here helping people. But then once you help people, they fucking hate you. So it's like they're going to hate you for not helping. They're going to hate you for helping. So at the end of the day, the only smart choice is not to help and just deal with the hate from the outside. It's fucking retarded. I'm telling you, humans are one of the most foolish creatures of all time, and me included. I'm one of the most foolish creatures you ever see. But slowly and surely, you will learn the great lesson of life, which is, hey, look, just do for yourself, and those who want to try to join will try to join, and just find a job for them. That's all you can really do for most people. Just give them a job. That's fucking too funny, man. Humanity, shout out to God, man. You're a funny motherfucker.